Hello, everyone. I'm Anthony Groves. I work for a church called Abide Church here in Brandon, Florida. I am the media director there. I also play electric guitar and some other instruments, but electric guitar is my main instrument, as you can probably see. So I've been wanting to do this for quite some time, of doing like gear demo, gear rundown, kind of what I'm using, and what I'm doing to get my sounds that I like. But the main problem is I changed my stuff quite a bit. So this is a pedalboard demo of as of May 31st, 2023. It may change June 1st, 2023. That's just the way it goes. I mean, you're chasing tone. It's a never-ending thing, for guitarists who understand. It's hard to stick with one thing when there's so many options out there. But I wanted to do kind of what I'm using right now, kind of what's been sticking around, what I've been doing, and so yeah, I'm not gonna say too much. Gonna jump right in here and get into some of the pedal demos and show you what I'm using. So let's jump over. I am using a pretty decent sized pedal board. This is a Blackbird pedal board. It's a 12 by 24 flat board with a ATA case, like it's a live-in ATA case. It initially they come with their own riser that comes with the board, but it's not like you can remove it, but it's not too removable because there's no hinge or anything like that. So I actually got this Goodwood riser, and I mounted it myself right here to these bolts. I drilled. It's a 21-inch Goodwood riser, and it flips up. You can see underside the hood there, and you just flip it back down when you're ready to go, ready to rock. And I've had it for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks now, and I've actually really enjoyed it. You do have to modify your board, but if you need space and you like the flatboard stuff, because that's what all the cool kids are doing nowadays, then you get a riser, you know what I mean? And this is a good one. It's cheaper than all the other ones out there, like the other companies. Y'all know the other companies. So first I'm going to probably do an overview of kind of where the signal chain flows. First off, it comes in to the volume pedal here, which this is a modded volume pedal by Tone. I actually don't think they do it anymore. I actually saw that it's not on the website anymore, but I bought it third party off of Reverb, someone who had already did it. So it goes in here, it goes out from the tuner, and then it goes into actually my first stage that I'm running right now. This has changed. It's actually recently changed as of last night, but it's going out of here, out of my tuner, into my RC booster, which I'm using as like a preamp. Add some more grit. I can also change some of the treble or bass depending on the guitars, that kind of thing. And then that goes into my compressor, my Empress Compressor MK2, which I love. I've had this pedal out of everything that I've had and sold over the last 2-3 years. This pedal is somehow stuck around. So that should tell you something. So it goes out of the compressor into the Luminary, I believe. Yes, it goes into the Luminary with the POG, the Walrus Audio Luminary. Then out of the Luminary, it's going to jump over to this Moore E7, which is just like a synthesizer sound. I'm really only using one setting on it right now. This kind of is just, up in the air. I actually like it for some patty stuff, but right now it's just fun stuff, So that will come out, and then it goes into my drive section. We'll start with the daily driver, which is stage 1-ish. I mean, all of them could be stage 1. I like to stack drives, so there's that. So it goes from stage 1, daily driver, Schnobel tone daily driver, into the JH double barrel V4, which then you got the blue side and the green side, which is Morning Glory and the Moonshine, or Tube Screamer-ish and a Blues Breaker. And then I also have a red remote here, so I'm able to click on, you know, the extra gain stage. Then it goes from the double barrel into the Tumuns here, and then out of the Tumuns it goes back into the volume section of the modded Dunlop Schnobel tone thingy bob volume pedal thing. And then that's when it's gonna come up to my white attack. So it goes from here, it'll go all the way back, jump up into the HX Stomp. HX Stomp's running a few things. I'm running a Fuzz. You know, I can, because I'm running an HX Stomp up here and not like a typical Mobius or maybe other modulation preset kind of things, I'm able to do a bunch of stuff with this because of that. Because I have my chorus, vibrato, flanger, you know, other stuff, but I also have other things. Like I have a fuzz on here, I've got a memory man delay, I've got a glitch delay that I kind of kick on sometimes. I also have an octo that I run off the Morning Star here that I can do via MIDI. And I can always change stuff out. I have other presets with different types of things that I'm able to do, which I just really love. So it's very versatile. So from the HX Stomp goes into the timeline. I mean, it's a timeline, everybody should know what a timeline is by now. From the timeline into the Bigsky, and then out of the Bigsky into my second HX Stomp, which is running amps and IRs. Right now I'm using the AC30 Personic, which is a little bit of a modded version of the Hislop IR stuff. You know, I've got the Hislop IRs and stuff like that. I've changed a few characteristics of the actual amps, but not much. You know, it's still very much his tone factor stuff. And then out of there it goes into the canvas, which is sitting under the walls on the canvas, which is sitting under the compressor, and then the XLR's out to my interface, which is just an SSL2 that's going into Logic. So I'm powering almost everything off of this Zuma. As you can see, I have another power supply here, and actually it's kind of hard to tell, but there's another power supply here. So mostly everything is off the Zuma. This Chox, it's a Chox Crux. When I was running the Quad Cortex, I had this because it was powering my Quad Cortex, because you know those things are power hungry. But because I switched out the Quad Cortex and I using HX Stomp, I just went ahead and just kept the Crux, and it's now just powering the HX Stomp there. This one is a Sweetfoot power supply. It has these 3 isolated power supplies that can do like 500 milliamps. But it also has this single one that's an HX Stomp, like 2000 or 1500 milliamps, something weird like that. Because you guys know that the HX Stomp takes a ton of power. So I'm using this specifically for this HX Stomp, and this one's for this HX Stomp. And then this power supply is running to this Luminary, because if you don't know, Luminaries do not power supply off of Zumas. I did not know that until it was too late. So if you like Pog 2s, but you wanted something a little bit smaller and you wanted Luminary, just know a Zuma won't power it up. Any of the Strymon power supplies won't power it up. So with all that said, let's get into some tones here. And this is a Schecter PT Fastback that I'm using right now. It has Lambertone cremas in both of the pickup positions. Yeah, this is like, I have a few guitars. This is like my main number one. I've had the Portlander, I've had a bunch of other stuff. I've had Shure, so don't at me, but I will put this guitar up to any of them. Just letting you know. Don't at me. Don't tag me on anything, bro. But I'm letting you know. This stands. You know what I mean? This holds its own. So yeah, so this is clean tone with the RC booster and the compressor. This is just bass tone for me. Like, this is exactly what it sounds like no matter what, you know, the neck position. So now that I'm recording, because I somehow forgot to hit the record button on Logic, here's my bass tone, compressor, RC booster. This is what you get. So that was with my Empress Compressor and my RC booster. The RC booster is adding quite a bit of gain, quite a bit of crunchiness. So I'll actually turn it off here. Let's put this thing off. So here's with it on. That's on the bridge there. Off. See? So on. Not changing much, just adding some more drive, some more gain to the stage, you know. Alright, so here we go. I mean, everybody kind of knows what a compressor does. It adds a lot of sustain, adds a lot of sparkle, you know, and you can do a bunch of stuff with it. Mine is obviously adding a little bit of sparkle and a little bit of sustain. I also will change this knob here, my tone, depending on the guitar I'm using, you know, so I'll use that sometimes instead of flipping the top. So also, if I want to change the mix, I can pull the mix a little bit different and it'll be a little bit cleaner instead of more edge of breakup. You know, I can do a few different. This is without the compressor. It's about the same. Stage one-ish, I mean, honestly, I'll show you. All of them could be stage-ish ones. It's just honestly kind of what I'm feeling in the moment. But 9 times out of 10, daily driver, kick it on first. So without daily driver, with daily driver. And then we go into the blues breaker, which is kind of like my stage 2. I'll show you just the blues breaker by itself. With the daily driver, which is what I normally do. And you can also kick on the red remote here. But I also, then I mean, I still have more. So, I mean, you got the green side, which is the Moonshine here, you know. See how, I mean, that could be a stage 1 itself in reality, but I like to stack my drives, so all of it kind of cascades on each other. So, and then I got the Tumuns here. The lightest of the two out of all of them. I also have a Fuzz here that I use. It's like an OCD-ish fuzzy fuzzy stuff. So I'm kind of using like I'm just experiment. All this is just straight up experiment. So you know, we got daily driver here. Those are my drives, man. That's pretty much it for the drives, so I will, use my Pog-ish Luminary stuff. I'll use that a lot for leads and stuff like that, but I also use it for thickening up some fuzzy stuff. It's actually kind of fun. So, I mean, you'll hear, just about every praise and worship person nowadays, you're using leads for like, they're using the octave stuff for all the leads. Kind of stuff, but I also use it for, I have our green here is more of a like, has a lot of sub octave in it, so I'll use that for like a lot of beefy stuff, like and I can kick on the like it gets kind of beefy sounding. It's kind of cool, it has its context. I'm just experimenting, coming up with stuff that I like. So that's where we're at. And then I got another. You get 3 presets, so they have another one here, and that's kind of just has a lot of octaves. So I kind of just use it as like, spacey stuff. I don't use it too often because I don't like too much shimmer, but I will use this occasionally. So let's turn it on here. We can like. And when I add a bunch of stuff like extra reverbs and stuff that you have going on, extra delays, it gets kind of washy and shimmery and stuff. I also use this synth. It's very synthy. I don't really do much if I'm doing a lead with it. I actually haven't used it for a lead yet, but I'm thinking there may come a day where it'll be interesting. But I use it just for like just some spacey stuff, just to be different. So that's pretty much, the main analog section of the board. That's pretty much it. I'll show you a bunch of stuff on the HX Stomp that I'm running right now. I showed you the Fuzz. The Fuzz is just interesting. You kind of heard this. This is a Memory Man that I'm using. Here's the Memory Man. Also run that. I also have an always on quarter note that I run into my delays. You can hear it. It's just a analog delay, which that feeds into my dotted eighth delays here. Which is what I use all the time. kick on the long delay and it gets kind of ambient without even having reverb on. Going forever. But then I also have this glitch delay that I like to use, you know, and it's interesting. A lot of my stuff is interesting. So pretty much what you get. You know, I've used this occasionally. You get the idea, you know what I mean? So I'll run that, and then I have more on this. So I have this Octo that I'm firing from my Mornings RMC3 here. It's being MIDI there. Here we go. So it's an Octo Reverb. I also have this section over here. My Mornings are really set up pretty easily. I have CHVB, stands for Coarse Vibrato, brings me to my Coarse Vibrato bank. Then it'll fire my chorus here. Coarse, vibrato. Then I'm also using, so TMFL stands for Tremolo Flanger. So I'm running the flanger off this HX stomp here. This trem, it says Trem SP because it stands for Trem Speed. Does nothing right now. It's because my tremolo is actually on this HX stomp here. So I fire the tremolo, got a tremolo. But this will change the speed. So that's pretty much it for that stuff. So, I mean, everybody knows the timeline. I've got a dotted eights, you know, I've got a low dot, lower one. And I got a little bit bigger one. These are pretty much my two main delays, you know, but I also have, if I bank down, I have my quarters, same concept, low and big. I go back to my bank up, dot, and then if I go up again, oh, hit the wrong button, up again, I have 8 delays for 6/8 stuff, you know, so. Pretty much super simple. I don't do too much. I have other stuff on here, but I don't typically use them too much. Just because if I was only using the timeline, then yeah. But because I have so much variety, I guess, there ain't no need. I mean, I probably could get away with smaller delays or more, like maybe the Walrus Audio, the little compact delay they got now. I forgot what they're called. Whatever. You guys, if you know what I mean, you can comment below or whatever. You can tell me. But you know, kind of the same thing with my reverb. It's the same thing, man. I stick with a few things. Right now, my right here is is it a hall? Yeah. I was doing. It's just a short hall. It's a short haul. Then this is my main cloud that I use, which is, you know, kind of always on most of the time. It's not really in the way. Actually, I run my delays a little bit harder and run my reverbs a little bit smaller. So my delays seemingly actually make my reverbs decay a little bit more because of the repeats. Works in my brain, not sure if it's real, but that's how it goes. Then I got Cloud 2. Just a little bit bigger. That's just for, you know, bigger ambient stuff. And then, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, I've got another here. This is a room reverb for the amps. It pretty much stays on the whole time. You can kind of hear the difference. It just gives a little bit of space to the amps and makes it feels a little more real than, like, I don't know. When you're playing live, it just feels a little bit better. I can always turn it off because I have a foot switch there. If I don't need it, if I don't feel like it's working. But that's where it's at. And then this right here is the good old fashioned, old faithful particle verb that I'm running here, that I will occasionally use, you know? So it'll be, you know, you can hear it. We're going back like 2010 right now, you know, when M9s and the M5s are cool. M9s and M5s are still cool, just letting you know. But I'll show you what I kind of do with that sometimes, you know, which I've been kind of experimenting with, you know, some POG, bigger delay, the bigger memory man, and then I'm just, sometimes I even pick on the Octo here, extra reverb, and I'm like, all right. and it goes. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, you'll hear. So we'll do like something like I do, Hallelujah, I think is what it's called. One of my favorite songs to play. Kind of do something with it. So this is probably what normally I would do. Maybe when like the chorus, we like. So, I think there you have it. I've kind of run over everything on the board. Timeline, Bigsky, HX Top. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. I will try and answer any questions that come up. I mean, if you don't have any questions, whatever. But yeah, so if you have any questions about anything else, I mean, pretty straightforward, I think. At least to me. Maybe not to you, but to me it is. It's pretty easy setup. And I like it right now. So it seems to work for me. Again, this could change tomorrow. Because the people who know me know I like to change my board more than I change my socks. So that's just the way things goes as a guitar player. So yeah. If you have any questions, have anything, let me know. Thanks for watching, and bye. Thanks.